Welcome to News Edge, your sharpest source for daily headlines and deep dives. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay ahead of the curve. The Jeffrey Epstein story just won't die. And for good reason. The layers of mystery and intrigue surrounding his life and death continue to captivate the public's attention as new revelations and unanswered questions emerge. At the heart of the push for answers is Congressman Ro Khanna, who's called out the fact that less than 1% of Epstein-related documents have been released. This small fraction leaves a vast majority of information hidden, fueling speculation and concern about what remains concealed. Khanna insists that only full transparency can bring justice for survivors and restore public trust. The survivors who have bravely come forward deserve to see the full scope of the truth, and the public demands accountability from those in power. This isn't just about Epstein, it's about setting a precedent that wealth and power can't shield predators forever. The implications of this case reach far beyond one man, challenging the very structures that allowed such abuses to occur unchecked. Khanna frames this as a moral imperative, not a political one. He argues that the pursuit of truth transcends party lines and is a fundamental issue of justice and integrity. The public deserves to know how Epstein operated with impunity for so long, and who enabled him. The unanswered questions cast a long shadow over the institutions meant to protect us. The slow drip of information only fuels suspicion and mistrust. Each new piece of evidence raises more questions than it answers, leaving the public in a state of uncertainty. A complete, unredacted release would finally reveal who participated, who enabled, and who looked away. It would provide a comprehensive picture of the network that allowed Epstein to thrive. This is about a truth hunt, not a witch hunt. The goal is to uncover facts, not to scapegoat, ensuring that justice is served and lessons are learned. Only sunlight, total transparency, can disinfect this wound and show the system isn't irreparably broken. Transparency is the first step towards healing and reform. The goal, no more shadows for secrets to hide in, and no more doubt about what really happened. The truth must be brought into the light, leaving no room for ambiguity. The survivors, and the public, deserve nothing less. Their courage and resilience demand a response that honors their struggle and seeks genuine change. The fight for these files is a fight for accountability at the highest levels. It is a call to action for all who believe in justice, urging those in power to act with integrity and transparency. In a rare and refreshing display of bipartisanship, Democrat Ro Khanna and Republican Thomas Massie have set aside their ideological differences to join forces on the Epstein Files Transparency Act. In today's polarized political climate, it's not often that lawmakers from opposite sides of the aisle come together for a common cause, especially one as controversial and high-profile as this. Their partnership is a testament to the idea that the pursuit of truth and justice can and should transcend party lines. It's a reminder that some issues are simply too important to be bogged down by partisan squabbles. Khanna and Massie are now just a few crucial signatures away from forcing a House vote through a discharge petition, a rare procedural move that allows lawmakers to bypass the usual leadership roadblocks and bring legislation directly to the floor. This is a bold step, signaling their determination to see this through, no matter the obstacles. What's remarkable is that this isn't just a fringe effort by a handful of lawmakers. Instead, it's a broad and growing coalition, with support from both sides of the aisle, all demanding justice for Epstein's victims and accountability for those who enabled him. The symbolism here is powerful and unmistakable. This is not a partisan issue but a deeply moral one. It's about standing up for what's right, regardless of political affiliation. By working together, Khanna and Massie are directly challenging the entrenched forces in Washington that would prefer this scandal quietly fade away. Their collaboration is a direct rebuke to the status quo, showing that real change is possible when lawmakers put principle above politics. Their effort is putting real, tangible pressure on congressional leaders to finally take action. It's a call to their colleagues to step up and do the right thing, even when it's uncomfortable. This movement is more than just a legislative maneuver. It's a rebellion against business as usual in Washington. It's a demand for transparency, accountability, and justice, echoing the voices of countless Americans who refuse to let this issue be swept under the rug. The near success of their petition is proof that, when pushed by public demand and moral conviction, Congress can indeed unite for justice. It shows that the system, while flawed, can still work for the people when there's enough willpower behind it. In the end, this bipartisan effort offers a glimmer of hope, a sign that even the most powerful can be held to account, and that justice, though often delayed, is still possible when good people refuse to give up the fight. Despite bipartisan support, the Epstein transparency effort has slammed into a wall congressional leadership. Powerful interests are working behind the scenes to keep these documents secret. Khanna has called out House Speaker Mike Johnson for blocking the bill, accusing him of protecting the powerful over victims. Even after hearing survivors' emotional testimony, leadership remains unmoved. Johnson claims enough documents have been released, but supporters say partial transparency isn't enough. Survivors and their allies know that without a legal mandate, the most damning information will stay buried. This isn't just about Epstein anymore, it's about fighting a culture of secrecy that shields the elite. The resistance is predictable, but Khanna and his coalition aren't backing down. The fight is now about breaking the system's habit of protecting its own. The Epstein saga exposes a painful truth. America has a two-tiered justice system. Khanna asks the obvious: how did Epstein and his network get away with it? The answer: wealth and connections. The push for transparency is about smashing this system of elite protection. Releasing the files would send a message: no one is above the law. Ongoing secrecy breeds conspiracy theories and public mistrust. Only full disclosure can separate fact from fiction and restore faith in justice. This fight is about more than Epstein, it's about ending impunity for the powerful. Until that happens, the public will keep believing the game is rigged. The House Oversight Committee recently released over 33,000 pages of Epstein records. A move that looks like progress. But it's just a fraction of what exists, and much of it is heavily redacted. Survivors traveled to Washington, sharing their stories and demanding the full truth. They know a partial truth is no truth at all. The Department of Justice continues to redact crucial details, making the documents nearly useless. This isn't new. Previous administrations have also withheld key files. The 33,000 pages are a teaser, not the main event. The slow redacted trickle only deepens public suspicion. Real transparency means releasing everything, unredacted. The public deserves the full story, not a censored version. The release of Epstein files is bogged down by redactions and delays. Some redactions are necessary, but many fear they're protecting the powerful, not the victims. Speaker Johnson claims the issue is settled, but supporters argue only a law can force true transparency. Epstein's mysterious death and the lack of a client list have fueled endless conspiracy theories. The slow, selective release of information only feeds public distrust. Half measures won't restore faith, only radical transparency will. The public needs a complete, factual record, from Epstein's crimes to his network to his death. Until then, suspicion of a cover-up will persist. Trust in our institutions hangs in the balance. Ro Khanna's unwavering demand for transparency and accountability in government isn't just a domestic issue. It's a principle that shapes his entire approach to politics, both at home and on the world stage. He believes that the same standards of openness and justice we expect in America should also guide our actions abroad. As a leading voice in Congress, Khanna has consistently advocated for the recognition of a Palestinian state, arguing that true peace and stability in the Middle East can only come through justice and equal rights for all people. He's also called for a halt to U.S. arms shipments to Israel during the ongoing conflict in Gaza, insisting that American support must not contribute to further violence or civilian suffering. Khanna argues that providing military aid without clear conditions or accountability makes the United States complicit in the suffering of innocent civilians. He believes that American foreign policy should be rooted in human rights, not just strategic interests. This stance marks a significant break from decades of traditional U.S. policy, reflecting a new and growing progressive movement that demands moral clarity and consistency from its leaders. For Khanna, it's about more than just politics. It's about building a consistent moral framework where justice and human rights are the guiding lights for every decision, whether domestic or international. He urges Americans to hold their country to the same high standards everywhere, insisting that our values shouldn't stop at the border. Whether we're addressing issues at home or engaging with the world, Khanna believes the principles of fairness and equality must always come first. Whether it's holding billionaires accountable for their influence on democracy or rethinking the way America provides foreign aid, Khanna's message is clear. The principle of justice should be the foundation of every policy. He calls on all Americans to put human decency and compassion at the center of our national conversation, reminding us that real progress is only possible when we stand together for what's right. Khanna's message is simple but powerful. America must always strive to act on the side of justice, no matter how difficult or complex the issue. Through his advocacy and leadership, Ro Khanna is pushing for policies that truly reflect these values, challenging the nation to live up to its highest ideals and to be a consistent force for justice in the world. Khanna's ideas on Epstein and Israel-Palestine are gaining ground in Washington. What was once fringe is now mainstream, thanks to a rising progressive wing and younger voters. Powerful lobbies like AIPAC are pushing back, but the debate is now public and fierce. The Democratic Party is split, with more lawmakers openly challenging the status quo. Khanna and his allies are building coalitions and shifting the conversation. Dozens of Democrats now support measures that would have been unthinkable a few years ago. This is a sustained movement, not a passing moment. The push is for a foreign policy guided by human rights, not just strategic interests. The momentum for change is real and growing. At the core of Khanna's campaigns, Epstein and Israel-Palestine, is a battle between the moral compass and the money compass. He's challenging systems where wealth and power dictate outcomes, not justice or decency. The fight for the Epstein files is about ending billionaire impunity. On foreign policy, he's demanding that U.S. actions reflect our values, not just our interests. Khanna's philosophy: ask is it right, before is it safe, or who will this anger? People are tired of double standards and policies disconnected from basic decency. The growing support for Khanna's ideas shows a hunger for leaders who follow their moral compass. That's a reason for hope, even in a cynical political world.